On the 23rd of July 2014, my life changed forever. And bizarrely, that change started on Facebook. It was about 10 o'clock at night, and early the next morning, about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, myself and my family were going off for a family holiday in Disneyland Paris. And I got a message through on Facebook from my good friend George Coutinho, was a fellow trainer at Tony Robbins with me. And the message simply said, "Rich, are you there?" Now, I know sometimes I will pretend not to be there. It wasn't particularly convenient. I should have been asleep anyway. And sometimes we ignore messages like that. But thankfully, I didn't. There probably was a reason why. For the previous year, my friend George's daughter, Leonore, who was 5 at the time, had been receiving treatment in Lisbon Hospital for Wilms tumour, which is a form of childhood cancer, which is very treatable if caught early on. Affects the kidneys. In her case, it had been caught a little bit late and had gone from the kidneys also up to the lungs. And so I answered my friend George and I said, "Look, yeah, I'm here. What can I do for you?" And he said, "Look, I've got some bad news. We came back from the hospital, and the doctors have said that the cancer is terminal, and there's nothing more they can do. They can ease her pain. They can ease her passing to the next life, and that's it." Now I've got 4 children. This was George's only daughter, and I can only imagine what he was going through. And I knew that he wouldn't take that sort of outcome for his daughter, while accepting the seriousness of the situation. And he discovered that there was some revolutionary treatment in Germany that they could see might help, but it would cost €30,000 at least, probably. And for the last year, George had pretty much not been working. He'd just been supporting his daughter. He said, "Look, Rich, I've got to raise the money. Got to raise €30,000 straight away. In fact, yesterday, ideally, so we can get to Germany and to get Leonore some treatment." And you were the first person I thought of, and that hit me like a sledgehammer, because like having my own children, only imagining what he could be going through with his daughter, and having effectively, it felt like having her life placed in my hands, knowing that in about 5 or 6 hours time I was heading to Euro Disney with rubbish internet and all sorts of other challenges. Of course, my immediate response was, "Yes, George, I'll do it. Book the tickets to Germany. Get over there. We'll sort out the rest." I had no idea at this point what I was doing. I had no idea how we would do it. It was clearly very important to him that it was going to be a group effort. He didn't expect me to come up with the money. And I truly believe that was the first time I've ever felt what commitment really feels like. Because failure was not an option. We had to create the money. We had to create the money to give this little girl a chance. So that is one of the great things about social media. I just shared the message out there. I shared what was needed, and people just stepped up. It was absolutely phenomenal. Some people didn't have money to give, but they gave resources and skills. They organised auctions. Some people did have money. One individual who I won't name, a fellow trainer, actually backed the 30 grand straight away and said, "Look, get her over there. Whenever you raise the money, you can pay me back." We thankfully didn't need that, because we actually raised 30,000 in 5 days, but it was very much appreciated. And we had 40,000 in 7 days. At this point, we decided to put a pause on things, and we got that little girl to Germany, and we started to get her treatment. And this is what was really remarkable: was this little girl, Leonore, 5 years old, in a lot of pain. All she could do in the messages that she was sharing with us, video or what have you, all she was saying was expressing her love, appreciation and gratitude for all the people that enabled her to go with her mummy and daddy, and hopefully get better. And Georgia kind of described this as this kind of little bug that was inside her that was causing her pain and needed to be taken out. And Leonore was such an amazing girl that she was actually concerned about the welfare of the bug and what would the bug do when it wasn't in Leonore's body anymore. It's just remarkable from such a young person. And this kind of feeling of goodwill, this feeling of love, appreciation and gratitude just spread amongst this community. It's just an amazing experience to all unite around this one sort of cause. and to help this little girl get a treatment. And she started to respond really, really well, which was fantastic. And then, unfortunately, by the end of August that year, things started to go downhill pretty rapidly. And I was actually at a Tony Robbins event at sort of early September. And it was just a bizarre set of circumstances where we had an exercise where these people were sort of dancing freely around the room. And right at that moment, I got the message through that Leonore had actually died. Oh, gosh. I can recollect now the feelings of failure, the feelings of being cheated, angry, frustrated, all these wonderful feelings, these wonderful emotions that we'd all pulled together and got what she needed, and then we didn't get the outcome we wanted, and it was just devastating. And then I realised a lot of those feelings of failure and anger, frustration just were not a good way of celebrating her life. Just a remarkable human being. Spent 5 years on the planet and was able to pass on these unbelievable messages of love, appreciation and gratitude to such a... literally, I think her Facebook page was like 200,000 people or something crazy like that. So what was a better way to celebrate her life? And George actually still does, but he basically goes around the world talking about Leonore's life and the messages that he believes she left for us in the short time she was on the planet. And then she didn't have any more to teach us, so that was her done, basically. Phenomenal speaker, George Coutinho. Became a second brother of mine. And even though I wasn't Leonore's dad, it was very important to me for me to have meaning out of this period of time, and I still can't really express in words what it meant for another human being to put that level of trust in me to create the money to save his daughter. And I'm just so deeply touched by the literally thousands of people on Facebook that assisted. So I started thinking more about what it had meant to me. And I had an opportunity to do that. Like, how can I spread Leonore's message myself? And the next Tony Robbins event was about a month later. The last day but one, we always talk about Tony Robbins Foundation. It's a charitable foundation. One of the things they do is they run something called Global Youth Leadership Summit, which is an event to help teach remarkable teenagers leadership skills so they can take them back to their own communities and create impact. But there are also other regeneration projects, fabulous work done by the foundation. And last day but one, we always talk about the foundation, and then we ask our team if they would like to donate some money to the foundation. And there's no pressure; it's just like, would they like to? We have a bit of friendly competition amongst the trainers. Like the team that raises the most money gets to sit at the front of the room, but that's not what it's about. Anyway, this next event, I thought I'm just going to talk about George and Leonore's story and the Pink Princess, as we called her, because she just spread this pink magic everywhere. And often when I talk about her story, I see something pink in the room. As I look around, I look to my left ear, and there's something pink straight away that I notice. So I told the story of the Pink Princess and the importance of bringing love, appreciation and gratitude into your own life, but also what expressing love and appreciation and gratitude within a group or to others, how much impact that can have in your life. Everything works from that space. Having come from myself from a very sort of striver achiever background, very things were never enough. I always need to do the next thing, the next higher level, the next new thing, create more, do more. Because of Leonore, I brought more love, appreciation and gratitude into my life, and everything started to work. So I told that story to my team and got the results later on. It was about a 20-minute talk. Got the results later on, and our team had raised 3 times more money than the next team. I'm like, wow, there's something in this. There's a lot of meaning. What's the meaning of life, basically? This little girl taught us the meaning of life. And the head trainer of Tony Robbins, a guy called Tad Shinky, came in, and he asked me what did I do, and to raise that money. And I said that it wasn't really about what I did. It was about how I encourage people to be. And he said, that's great. Could you teach it at the next event? I went, sure I can. Yeah. The next event was 2014, Date with Destiny. And I had a Japanese team. I had the privilege of having a Japanese team, not being able to speak Japanese. I had 3 wonderful leaders that were translating for me. And right at the start, I said to these leaders, I said, look, we're gonna really help the Japanese move from head to heart, which was a very important journey for them. Really experience emotions from the heart. And we got the foundation talk at the end, and they explained to me, and I might not get it exactly right, but basically they explained to me that like charity and things like that was not really quite sort of expressed in the same way in Japan as it is in say Western countries that I'm familiar with. So just be aware of that. I thought, okay, well, this is going to be interesting. So one thing I knew about the journey from head to heart. I was a very academic child. I did sciences at university, biology at university, so I was a scientist. I was in a banker, but then I also understood how important for me that journey from head space into really feeling things emotionally in heart space, how it impacted my life. So over the time we were together 6 days with this team. I helped them to appreciate you can keep the intellectual knowledge and the skill from your sort of more academic background, but then you can use it with the heart space and create something very, very powerful. And the day before the foundation tour, one of the leaders, an amazing man called Chris Okazaki, came up to me and he said, look, Rich, I want to talk about how we need to resolve Japanese teenage suicide, which is a chronic problem, and I'd like to do most of the foundation talk. And a big part of me was like, but that's my thing, that's what I do, that's what I'm really good at, it's George and Leonore. And I realised I had to let it go. So at the start of the talk, I talked very briefly about the George and Leonore story, then I handed it over to Chris. And Chris talked to our team about the importance of trying to change fundamental shifts and create fundamental shifts in culture that could enable these Japanese teen suicides to drop. Now, he wasn't only speaking just to our team, we gathered all the Japanese together. So we had about like 180, 200 people in front of Chris. And he was talking to these people that traditionally have been very much in headspace, quite reserved. And I could see the impact of what he was saying was having on them, connecting them with love, appreciation and gratitude. And they were just crying and crying and crying. And I was getting the English translation 2 seconds delayed, so now I was crying as well. Phenomenal experience. And at that event, we raised a record amount of money, which is over $1.3 million, which is a number of teams each giving this 20-minute talk, their own talk. And it was a record, and Tony Robbins recognised it from stage. And our Japanese team raised about $186,000, which was the top team. And I believe another Japanese team was third as well. So just the most unbelievable experience to be part of that. And it was down to Leonore, fundamentally. And the journey went on. Like later the next year, there was an event in Australia which I couldn't be at, but I passed the training on to the Australians, and they raised a record amount of money using this approach: love, appreciation, and gratitude. Would you like to contribute to the foundation? They raised about $900,000 for a small event, which was again another record. And in the interim, at Christmas, I was driving to see my kids. I was driving to see my kids. And I thought, what does this really mean? What does this really mean? And I've been thinking about a phrase that often is used in society is make a difference. I want to make a difference. I want to make a difference. And I'm like, make a difference just didn't sit right for me. Because I'm like, first of all, I don't know how to make a difference. I don't know what a difference is. It sounds like there's a recipe involved. Sounds like there's ingredients involved. Sounds all a bit complicated, really. And driving along, I suddenly came across the concept of be the difference. What if we could be the difference? Because you don't need anything other than yourself and your presence to be the difference. Being the difference is love, appreciation and gratitude. Be the difference today, in this moment, right now, with me talking to you. And it just hit me like a sledgehammer. I just started crying and crying to the point where I actually had to pull my car over because I couldn't see very well through these tears. All these cars are whizzing past and they're like, gosh, he looks pretty upset at Christmas. I wonder if he's been given the socks again or something. But that was it. That to me was like, be the difference today. I knew that was the most important concept I probably would ever learn in my life and probably would ever express in my life. Be the difference today. And from that moment, I've always talked about being the difference today, be the difference today, and what that can mean. And in terms of the Tony Robbins talks and raising money, because there is a financial impact behind this, behind being the difference. It culminated actually in an event. It's the last time I did a foundation talk was December 2018, another Date with Destiny event, and I had a team of platinum partners. So these are people that are giving a lot of money to be front of house with Tony, attend all his events, attend bespoke events, spending tens of thousands of dollars to be part of that, the platinum partner group. A lot of that money going to charity anyway, to Tony's foundation anyway, them being asked at every event for more money. So we're warned to be a little bit respectful of that. But anyway, it was the biggest Date with Destiny we'd ever had. It was about 75 teams, about 60 to 70 people in each team. And it came to the day of doing the foundation talk. And normally, as I said, it's normally a good 15, probably 20 minutes in my case, talk. It's the most important thing for me in the week. And we bonded really closely as a team. I love the team. My team was called the Wolf Pack. We were bonded, we were tight. And I start the talk, and then we get an announcement saying that the talks are cut down to about 10 or 12 minutes. And I was annoyed. I thought, I've come here, I've travelled all the way to the US, I spent 6 days here, and I want to do a full talk, and now I've got 10 or 12 minutes. And I just said to the team, look, guys, I'm annoyed. Just let you know. I'm just going to unleash. I'm just going to unleash love, appreciation, and gratitude on you, and let's see where we go. So my kind of normal speech got chucked out the window, and I just went on a rant. I just went on an absolute rant about how important bringing these three things into your life are. If you can bring more love into your life, you bring more appreciation into your life, you bring more gratitude into your life, follow the Pink Princess's principles, Leonor's principles, things will be good. And I was going for it. And then a couple of minutes before the end, this hand went up. This gentleman I won't name him, but a phenomenal human being. And I thought, oh man, he's interrupted me right towards the end. And he said, sorry to interrupt, Rich, but if the team donate $10,000, I'll donate $10,000. And the guy next to him said, yeah, I'll copy that too. And I was just blown away. I can't even remember what I said for the last 2 minutes, but I was just blown away by that generosity. And at the end of the event, those 75 teams, the other 74 teams, I think the most money raised was about $44,000, I think, something like that. And our team raised $106,000. So nearly 2.5 times the next team. And it's not a competition, but it was just like, wow, that's when I really unleashed the power of this concept. For the right people, they'll get it. And those right people might be you watching this video right now. Because from that concept of being a different style, I created a grid. I'll do another video in more detail, slightly more beautiful graphics on this one, but I just wanted to show you the concept of the grid. So the concept of the grid is just rows of I, we, you in the rows, and then past, present, future on the columns. And in essence, the way that you make sure that you're bringing love and appreciation and gratitude into your life is to go do the I line first. So how have I been the difference for myself and others in the past? Expressing love for myself, things I've done in the past, appreciation for myself, things I've done in the past, and gratitude for things I've done in the past. Deliberately going into the past and looking for the good stuff, because we could do that. And we could do that more, right? All of us. Being more present, deliberately not being in the past or the future, being in the present column. How can I be more present? How can I be the difference for others in this moment? How can I express more love, appreciation, and gratitude for myself and others in this moment? And then from that place, then projecting forward, like how can I use my skills, abilities? How can I lay down the possibility of more love, appreciation, and gratitude in the future? So that's the I line. Again, I'll do more in a separate video. The we line's very similar concept. It's just it's groups. So it could be communities. It could be sports clubs. It could be people uniting around a common cause. It could be businesses. I'll do again in a separate video. I'll talk more about businesses. Celebrating what we have done in the past, being more present in it right now, expressing love and appreciation and gratitude more right now, and then how can we be the difference going forward? My favourite line, which actually can be part of a movement, so again there'll be another video on this. I created a movement called ICU with the help of my friend G. Geert. And it's expressing love and appreciation and gratitude to another human being. Like, I appreciate something you did in the past. I love you for something you are doing for me right now. I'm grateful for something you did in the past, or grateful for something you've done doing for me right now. And then also expressing to human beings how you believe they could express their greatness going forward. So you see greatness in them that is coming through and coming out and will come out more. Because we often see greatness in others before ourselves. But ultimately, seeing greatness in yourself, seeing greatness in a group of people, seeing greatness in one individual, it's all forms of expression of love. It's all forms of expression of appreciation. It's all forms of expression of gratitude, like Leonore did. And that's what I encourage you to do at the end of this video, is to think about how can you bring more love, appreciation and gratitude into your life. How can you be the difference today, and how can you honour the memory of the Prink Princess Leonore Coutinho. Thank you. Bye now.